Hi, my name is Luiz Maia. I'm a founder of a company called Maia International. We are a real estate investment advisor company specialized in property investments in Portugal, Spain, UK, and France, and Brazil. I've been working in this industry for the last 6 years, especially the international market. And then we decided that to come to Hong Kong to talk a little bit about the Golden Visa, which has been extremely popular. Our offices in Europe is based in Lisbon, at the Cartier building, at the Liberdade Avenue, which is the main avenue in Lisbon. I personally have done between 30 to 40 million euro sales, especially in Portugal, and where you really have a huge demand, not just from Brazilians, French, English, but also Americans and Hong Kongers as well. The model of my company, the way I've been working is I'm working as a buyer's agency. So the idea is just to work for the buyers, and rather than just coming to Hong Kong or other countries to basically try to sell stock from other developers. Lisbon has been voted the #1 city to invest in 2019. We feel that Lisbon is still going to be on the top of the list in the next couple of years. There are 5 main reasons. Number 1 is inheritance taxes. You don't have inheritance taxes, and it's super attractive as well compared to other countries in Europe that can go up to 50-60%. That means that buyers can rest assured that their families will benefit from the value of the investment one day. Entrepreneurship is today is like the country where most startups in Europe. It's the biggest center of the creative hub, which is called. And it's about 3 times bigger than the same one in Paris. So it's next week we have the Web Summit, which is the biggest technology event in the world, and the city will have an average of apparently like 10 tourists or attendees per resident. So it's huge. Quality of life. Portugal is relatively cheap compared to the other cities in Europe. It's very safe. 300 days of sun per year, an average. Especially, I'm talking a lot about Lisbon because that's where the main investors are interested in. And rental income is above the average in Europe, which is around 3.5%, and in Portugal we have around 5.4%. This is between short-term rental and long-term rental. Geographically, it's also perfect as well. It's the entrance from the US and South America to Europe. It's 2.5 hours you can get to Paris, London, 1 hour in Madrid. So it's and you have like an airport that pretty much delivers to all over the world, including Shanghai as well. Economic growth. Just talking about the economy a bit. Portugal went through like a massive crisis in 2008, like most of the countries in Europe. However, it's recovering super well, where you had the economic growth in 2018 to 2.2%, comparing to countries like Spain that really didn't get to the 2 points. It's actually very positive. Unemployment rate at some stage, maybe 4 years ago, was above 17%, and now we're talking about 6%, which is really under control. In terms of prime real estate, what's one of the things that really attracting people? I did a comparison about real estate in general in Europe. Prime real estate, so comparing apples to apples, of course, in all these countries. We have in Lisbon, the average price per square meter in the prime areas, it's around 8,000 euros. Of course, you can find things, of course, under that, half of that price. But when you're talking about prime real estate and you compare it to cities like Paris, where it's an average of 17,000 euros, London, which is 26,000 euros, it makes it very attractive for people to invest in this market, especially because there is a huge demand for some of the reasons that I mentioned before. Golden visas. This is what was really attracting Hong Kongers at the moment. From our own experience, it's been the biggest wave ever for investors. And basically, you have to invest 500,000 euros into a property, and then once you invest, you have to spend 7 days in Europe for the first year, 14 days for the consecutive 2 years, and then what really happens is you have to do this process for 5 years. You have to keep this property for 5 years. After 5 years, you'll be able to apply for citizenship. So you have a permanent residency after 5 years. You can keep this residency forever. You don't have to live there, which is different from a lot of countries like Spain, where you actually have to move there and you get your permanent residency in 2 years, but you have to become a citizen. It takes 10 years. So you have to do a basic Portuguese test in the end. It's not so difficult. You don't have to be proficient, but enough to be able to speak the language. The Golden Visa is extendable to families and relatives, which is including dependents. For example, if your child is over 20 years old, you will not be able to have the Golden Visa unless it's financially dependable. The same with your parents. If the parents are financially dependable or for many reasons, they disabilities or anything like that, that they won't be able to support themselves, they can actually apply for the Golden Visa. So in summary, the Golden Visa, it's a 5 years process. At the end of 5 years, you can apply for citizenship and acquire a Portuguese passport, which can't be cancelled. It stays with you forever. If you'd like to find out more information about property investments in Portugal and Golden Visa, please be in touch. Thank you.